Hello family, this is African Esquire and I'm here with a new video. This is going to be a quick video because I wanted to talk specifically about the whole Angela Rye situation. So if you weren't watching, there was it was a not live stream, podcast that Angela Rye has with Charlamagne the God from the Breakfast Club. And they were talking about Minister Farrakhan, and Charlamagne, has historically shown that he has a relationship with Minister Farrakhan, and while he's, not necessarily always on his side with certain things, he's shown that, he has a deep respect for that man. So, he wanted to talk about the situation with Minister Farrakhan being banned from Facebook, and Angela Rye comes in with her own commentary about this, and some people were kind of surprised. So I'm going to put a clip from that broadcast in here, and then we're going to talk about it.
Building with the minister since 2005. The thing I say about the minister is, if you listen to him a lot, he's not attacking all Jewish people. Just like he doesn't attack all black people. He
also says a lot of stuff that's like homophobic. Like a lot of stuff.
Well, I think a lot of that is old school, just being older 80-something-year-old black man.
I guess my thing is, being old doesn't mean that you can be like dumb and a bigot. I'm not calling him dumb, but I'm saying you don't have to speak ignorantly because you're old.
So Boyce Watkins, Dr. Boyce Watkins, did a very great video on this great breakdown of what his thoughts were. So I'm not gonna go into those same topics, but I suggest you go to his video because he really does break down this whole idea of her schooling Minister Farrakhan on, activism is kind of ridiculous. I want to talk about her being chosen for the platform of CNN because I don't want to do a personal attack of her because I stay away from that on this channel. I'm not going to critique you for you, but I definitely will critique you, for your ideology, and I will critique what role you play in the media, what role you play in the white supremacist media. I've always been very suspectful of her, particularly. Really, since the first time I saw her. I mean, I always felt suspenseful because, to me, with CNN, the way that they work nowadays is that they want someone who's going to bring the drama on their platform. So even when she would be schooling the CNN anchors and saying, no, don't you say this about black people. Don't you say this about that. Don't you say this or that. What the question was it really being done for black people, or was it being done to basically entertain CNN's audience? Because CNN isn't really a news site, or not site, a news network anymore. It's more of a political beef network, so things are stirred up and they say, oh, so-and-so schooled so-and-so, so-and-so schooled so-and-so. It's like, celebrity death match or something. That's what CNN is today. So I didn't really look at her coming down hard on certain people as being done for the interest of the community as much as being done to kind of entertain, or give, like, to prop up the CNN machine, I would say. So I haven't taken her that seriously. I just haven't. The issues that she talks about are not issues that I take that seriously. What I mean by that is, the typical Democrat issues, the typical liberal issues. Black people, we have to vote. Black people, we have to care about this. We have to care about that. She's a typical liberal. Like, to me, if you think about the stances she makes typical liberal stances. Like, she's never done anything that was interesting or outside of the box. You could compare her to someone to, like, Tamika Mallory. Yes, she has a lot of the liberal stances, but she has independent thoughts. She has independent moves. Like, she doesn't go with the establishment. I've never seen that with her, with Angela Rye. So I've always been suspenseful of her. Now, as we all know, and Mark Lamont Hill, and he, is not even the most, out there guy, but he did point something out, that when he said that there's a litmus test when it comes to Minister Farrakhan, where you basically have to pass the litmus test. You have to denounce him if you're a black person in media. And if you're a black person that supports him, you're going to have a very hard time, especially like in these news spaces. So places like CNN or Fox News or whatever, you're going to have a hard time getting along there if you don't denounce them, I thought it was interesting because she, basically passed the litmus test. She denounced him. She denounced him for statements, even his statements that were out of context. She says, even though you're out of context, I'm still going to denounce you because the fact that you said something that could be taken out of context, which didn't make no sense. Like, you could take just what I said just now and make it mean something completely different. The fact that everyone says something that could be taken out of context. Everyone. When, could you imagine had they cut up, what they did? They cut up Malcolm's speeches. They cut up Martin's speeches. Marcus Garvey's speeches. They cut up everyone's speeches. They cut up, people like, if you cut out someone like Assata Shakur, what she would say, if you just take out one thing, like, she spelled America with a KKK, like, what if you just took that and put that on the newspaper without giving context to why she actually did that? Like, there's a lot of people who have been misquoted. There's a lot of people who have been taken out of context. So she did not blame the news, who have the obligation to report things accurately. She didn't blame them. No, it's not their fault. It's the person who says it's fault for saying something that could be taken out of context, which was silly. Watch the whole video if you didn't catch that part. But, so she blamed Minister Farrakhan for saying something that could be taken out of context. She blamed him, I'd say, for his fiery language. Because in the media tradition, you don't speak directly to the issues. You don't call out things the way they are. In the Black tradition, we do that. We do those things, in Black tradition, period. It's weird that you're saying that we have to change the way that we talk, change the way that we organize, change the way that we motivate and incite our people to make positive changes in our community. We have to change those things for the media, change those things for Facebook. We have to change those things to be accepted by a white audience. Like, these are just disappointing points she made. Again, not surprising to me, because I just never, with her, like, I just never thought that she was someone who stood out there in the gap. Like, even when you see her on different interviews, she's on the Breakfast Club all the time. She's not saying anything that the Democrats aren't saying. She's basically just saying what they're saying, but she's just putting a sister girl accent on it, That doesn't do much for me. Now, again, CNN has an agenda. MSNBC has an agenda. Fox News has an agenda. They all have an agenda. They're going to put people out there and promote them who are going to promote their system. So, for example, CNN totally did away with Marc Lamont Hill when he made comments about Israel, which is a state that is committing mass acts of terrorism against Palestinian people. Now, when he did that, they wanted nothing to do with him, right? And also, I'm going to come back to the Israel thing, actually. They did that because they didn't want anyone to tell truth. They don't care about the truth. They care about you saying what aligns with their power, with their interests, with their, I think they had a lot of people from the Jewish community who, I don't know if they fund or AIPAC or something was like a funder of CNN or something, or just like people making calls to CNN. But that was enough for CNN to basically pull the plug on Marc Lamont Hill. So it's not about journalism anymore. It's about controlling narratives. Let's move on and talk about that Israeli thing just a little bit longer. If you remember, Marc Lamont, he was literally standing by himself whenever he made the comments condemning Israel. He said something like, Israel, be free from like sea to sea or something, and they basically went in and said, oh, he's saying something that Israel shouldn't exist or something like that. Now, I thought it was so interesting, and I always think it's interesting when people of our community say things that are true and you don't see people back them up. And I was actually looking for Angela Rye, who was on CNN, to say something in regard to Marc Lamont Hill, backing him up. But she didn't, because she's not controversial like that. How interesting. She's not going to stand out there like that. She's not going to stand out there when it comes to the Democrats. And that's what we have to understand. The point of this video is to say this one thing. When we have people get on CNN, when we have people get on MSNBC, Fox News, and NBC, ABC, whatever C, even if it's not the news, if you get black people on just networks, period, any type of position that we're told to love, you know, oh, we have the first black CEO of Apple or the first black CEO of this. Do not celebrate these things automatically, you know, and especially when you think about with CNN, don't celebrate that automatically. I want to see a black person who tells the truth on CNN. I'm going to celebrate that. You know, if you are black and controversial and you are going to stand up for us 24/7 and not be scared about who's looking, not be scared about not looking too out there, and, you know, not be scared about speaking truth, not be scared about supporting someone like Minister Farrakhan. If you're that person, okay, I'll celebrate you. But when a black person gets these positions, do not celebrate that automatically. Because understand that they're there to make it look like black people are included. But they're not really included because they're not voicing our true aggravations. They're not voicing what truly would help us. They voice what the Democrats say would help us. The Democrats say vote. That's going to help. Get more jobs. That's going to help. They say the same things that they say. But they don't talk about things that are radical. They don't talk about black nationalism. They don't talk about Pan-Africanism. They don't talk about things that are going to change the establishment, change the situation. They're not there to be revolutionary. Understand that. So don't celebrate these people automatically. See what they do. See how they go over time. See if they're actually there to just occupy a spot as the black token, or if they're there to actually speak truth to power. If they're there to say something controversial that could help the black community, even if it jeopardizes their career. Those are the things you want to look for. She doesn't surprise me with this. As I stated, she's never been controversial. She's always, even the times where she supposedly has schooled the white people on CNN, it's never been on a controversial point. She's never like schooled anyone on that we should have a Malcolm X Day, just like we have a Martin Luther King Day or something like that. She's never schooled anyone on, you know, on the fact that the Democrats have been, you know, pillaging us for our votes and not giving us anything in return. She's never schooled anyone on those things. Those are too controversial. And that's what I want to see. School me on that. Not on, you know, Harriet Tubman being on a $20 bill or some bullcrap like that. All right, y'all. That's it for this video. I will see you on another video.